Good morning everybody. Welcome to the second session of electric field intensity and potentials. Last class we discussed about Gauss law and its proof. In this session I would like to discuss about the applications of Gauss law. We have two applications for this Gauss law in our syllabus. The first one is the electric field intensity due to an infinite conducting sheet of charge. The second one is the electric field intensity due to a uniformly charged sphere. The first one is the electric field intensity due to an infinite conducting sheet of charge, and second one is the electric field intensity due to a uniformly charged sphere. I would like to first explain the first case, which is the electric field intensity due to an infinite conducting sheet of charge. Here, for calculating electric field intensity for infinite conducting sheet, we consider an infinite conducting sheet. Here, for calculating this electric field for an infinite conducting sheet, we consider the sheet as shown in this diagram. Consider this as charged conducting sheet. Here the charge Q is uniformly distributed on the surface of this conducting sheet. Here the charge resides only on the surface of this conducting sheet, and there is no charge inside this conducting sheet. We will consider that the charge Q is uniformly distributed throughout this conducting sheet on this surface only, and there is no charge inside this conducting sheet. Okay, here let sigma be the charge density. We treat sigma be the charge density. Charge density means charge per unit area. Charge density means charge per unit area. So, for calculating electric field intensity for this surface, we assume a point outside this surface and on this surface. For this, we construct a Gaussian cylinder throughout this conducting sheet. Throughout this conducting sheet, we construct a Gaussian cylinder. Here, the Gaussian cylinder results the electric flux through this infinite conducting sheet. So, we consider three parts of this conducting sheet. At outside this conducting sheet as right end, and middle of this conducting sheet as curved surface, and end of the conducting sheet as left end. This left end is infinite because we consider this conducting sheet as infinite. Then the Gaussian cylinder passes through this conducting sheet. Then at the end of the conducting sheet is at infinite condition because we take that the electric field intensity due to an infinite conducting sheet of charge. Here the Gaussian cylinder encloses throughout this conducting sheet and it results the electric flux through outside this conducting sheet as right end, and at the center as curved surface, and at the end of the sheet as left end. Here we calculate the electric flux for these three areas. Here the electric flux for this area right end as, we know electric flux is indicating with the letter phi E, then we can write phi E is equivalent to closed integral E dot ds right end. Here at the right end we consider a point P. This point P around this area as treated as ds. Here the electric field is radially outward direction. Here this ds and E which are parallel to each other. Hence we calculate the electric flux as closed integral E dot ds right end. We write closed integral E dot ds at the right end. E ds cos theta. Here theta is the angle between E and ds. This value is cos 0 because here E and ds which are parallel to each other. Hence the angle is nothing but theta is equivalent to 0. Then we write flux phi is equivalent to cos 0 value is 1. Then E dot ds. Here E is constant, then we can write it before the integration, closed integral ds. Here closed integral ds, here this area ds as nothing but a sphere. Then we take surface area of this area ds as S. Therefore, phi E is equivalent to E into S. Okay, we calculate the electric flux for this right end. Then we go for left end. Here the left end is at infinite condition. At the infinite condition, the electric field is infinity, then it does not exist. Hence electric flux also 0. Therefore, phi is equivalent to closed integral E dot ds left end. Here the field is tends to infinity, then automatically flux becomes 0. Okay, now we calculate the electric field intensity at the curved surface. So for this, the electric flux is nothing but, for the curved surface, phi is equivalent to closed integral E dot ds curved surface. Here at the curved surface we write the electric field and ds which are both are perpendicular to each other. Hence, automatically the electric flux becomes 0. Here E and S, which are perpendicular to each other at the curved surface, then the electric flux becomes 0. Therefore, phi is equivalent to 0. Then, by considering these three parts, the electric flux, we get the electric flux for this entire conducting sheet as phi is equivalent to closed integral E dot ds right hand plus closed integral E dot ds left hand plus closed integral E dot ds curved surface. We calculate the flux for these three parts as nothing but for the right hand we get the flux value as E dot S. For left hand the electric flux is nothing but 0. For curved surface the electric flux as 0. Therefore, phi equivalent to ES. We consider this equation as 1. Here this one is Gauss law application. Okay, the statement for Gauss law is the total normal electric flux through any closed surface is equivalent to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed within the closed surface. Hence, we can write phi is equivalent to, from the statement of Gauss law, flux is nothing but phi is equivalent to q by epsilon naught. Here we consider the charge q as small because we treat here the charge distributed in this entire conducting sheet as small q. Therefore, phi is equivalent to q by epsilon naught. This one as equation 2. Then equation 1 and equation 2 we equating the electric flux on LHS is same. Therefore, ES is equivalent to q by epsilon naught. Here charge q is considered as in sense of charge density. Then we can write this value as ES is equivalent to sigma S by epsilon naught. Here by cancelling this S on both sides, then we get E is equivalent to sigma by epsilon naught. From this expression, we say that the electric field intensity is the ratio between charge density and permittivity of the free space of this conducting sheet. This is the electric field intensity due to an infinite conducting sheet of charge. Okay, then we go for next application. Which is the electric field intensity due to a conducting charged sphere. Due to uniformly charged sphere. Here, the electric field intensity due to uniformly charged sphere can explain in three cases. The case one is when the point P lies outside the charged sphere. Second one, when the point P lies on the charged sphere. Third one, when the point P lies inside the charged sphere. Here, the electric field intensity due to an uniformly charged sphere can be explained in three cases. The case one is when the point P lies outside the charged sphere. Second case, when the point P lies on the charged sphere. Third case, when the point P lies inside the charged sphere. Okay, we first go for the first case as when the point P lies outside the charged sphere. So, for explaining this case, first we consider a charged sphere. With center O and radius as R. We consider that the charged sphere with center O and radius capital R. Here, the case as uniformly charged sphere. Hence, here charge Q is uniformly distributed throughout this sphere. Here the sphere is non-conducting. Okay. Then our assumption, the point P lies outside the charged sphere. For this we consider a point P which is outside this charged sphere, then which is at a distance smaller from this center O. This point P lies outside this charged sphere with the same center, the distance R. Here, for calculating electric field intensity, we consider a Gaussian sphere which is concentric with the same sphere. For this calculating electric field intensity, here we assume a Gaussian sphere which is concentric with this same sphere, as in dotted lines. Okay. Here the Gaussian sphere with the same distance R and same center as O through this point P. Here, for calculating electric field intensity, we assume a small part of this Gaussian sphere as ds elemental area. This ds as elemental area. Here the electric field is radially outward direction. Here the electric field is radially outward direction. Okay, for calculating electric flux for this entire surface, we just calculate first the electric field for this small part of the ds as the electric flux for this small part of the ds as d phi e. Flux for small area ds as d phi e is equivalent to E dot ds. Here the electric field is radially outward direction through this point P, then the flux is nothing but d phi is equal to E dot ds. Here E and ds which are parallel to each other, then the angle made by them is E ds cos theta. Here theta value is nothing but 0. Then we know cos 0 as 1. Therefore, flux d phi e is equivalent to E ds. Okay. Then we calculate the electric flux for this entire surface, Gaussian surface. We integrate the above equation. Then we have the flux for the Gaussian sphere as phi is equivalent to closed integral E dot ds. Here the Gaussian sphere with radius r and center O, then we can write E as constant. It is for all the parts of the sphere E is same. Hence we can write it before the integration closed integral ds. E closed integral ds. This closed integral ds as surface area of the sphere with the radius small r, then we can write flux phi is equivalent to E into 4 pi r square, because this closed integral ds value has area of this sphere, which is nothing but 4 pi r square. So we consider this equation as 1. We get flux for the entire Gaussian sphere as phi is equivalent to E dot 4 pi r square. Here this one also Gauss law application. So according to the Gauss law statement, the total normal electric flux through any closed surface is equivalent to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed within that closed surface. So we write phi is equivalent to Q by epsilon naught. So this one is treated as equation 2. Then we equating these two equations. Therefore E dot 4 pi r square is equivalent to Q by epsilon naught. We want to calculate the electric field intensity. Therefore E is equivalent to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by r square. Here this is the electric field intensity for the point P lies outside this charged sphere. The units for electric field intensity is nothing but Newton per Coulomb. This vector form for this electric field is written as E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q into r cap by r cube. Here by writing this vector form, we take r and multiply and divide this r with on both sides, numerator and denominator. We get the vector form as E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q into r cap by r cube. The units are nothing but Newton per Coulomb. This one as case 1. When the point P lies outside the charged sphere, the electric field intensity is nothing but equivalent to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q into r cap by r cube, Newton per Coulomb. I hope you are following the first case. Then we go for the next case. The second case is nothing but when the point P lies on the surface of the sphere. On the surface of charged sphere. Okay, when we take the point P lies on the surface of the charged sphere, we know the charged sphere as with center O and radius as r. We consider that point P lies on the sphere. Then automatically here the radius of the sphere and the distance between the sphere are same. Then we don't calculate the electric field intensity again. Then we get the same value as we already calculated. So the electric field intensity for this point lies on the charged sphere is nothing but we consider this r distance is equivalent to capital R in this case here. Therefore E is equivalent to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. The electric field intensity for this case is nothing but E is equivalent to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square, because this point P lies on the surface of the sphere. Then we take this small r is equivalent to capital R. So we get the same electric field intensity as we calculated in case 1. Then we can write the electric field intensity for this case as E is equivalent to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square Newton per Coulomb. Is when the point P lies inside the charged sphere. Here the case 3 is when the point B lies inside the charged sphere. For explaining this case, we consider the same sphere charged as with center O and radius R. Here we consider the same charged sphere as with center O and radius R. So here we consider that the point P lies inside this charged sphere. For this we assume the point in about two cases we consider the point P. Then here to indicate the difference between these cases we write this P as P dash. Here we assume the point P dash, which is some R dash. Here also we write this, we take it as R without confusion. Here the distance between this point O and this point P dash as R. So for calculating electric field intensity, we assume a concentric Gaussian sphere with the same center O and distance as R throughout this sphere. Here this Gaussian sphere which is concentric with this actual sphere. We consider this point P dash which is inside this sphere, uniformly charged sphere with a distance R. Here for calculating electric field intensity, we consider a Gaussian sphere with a same center O and distance as R. Now we consider a small part of this Gaussian sphere as ds. Here the electric field is radially outward direction. So we calculate the electric flux for the small part of this area ds as nothing but d phi e is equivalent to E dot ds. Here the electric field and ds which are parallel, then E ds cos theta. Here also the angle between E and ds is nothing but cos theta value as 0. Then we have d phi e is equivalent to E dot ds. So for calculating electric flux for this entire Gaussian sphere, we integrate the above equation. Therefore, flux phi is equivalent to closed integral E dot ds. Here E is constant at all points of the sphere. Then we can write it before the integration E into closed integral ds. Here the distance, nothing but the radius for this point P dash from this point O is treated as R. Then the surface area of this Gaussian sphere is nothing but E into 4 pi R square. Here this phi e value is nothing but phi e is equal to E dot 4 pi R square. This closed integral ds value is nothing but surface area of the sphere considered as with a radius smaller as closed integral ds is equivalent to 4 pi R square. Therefore, phi is equivalent to E dot 4 pi R square. This is considered as equation 1. Here, the charge Q is uniformly distributed throughout this Gaussian sphere. So, the charge enclosed in the Gaussian sphere can be calculated as charge enclosed in the Gaussian sphere as equivalent to nothing but volume of this Gaussian sphere into charge per unit volume. Charge per unit volume. Therefore, volume of the sphere is nothing but 4/3 pi r cube. For this Gaussian sphere with radius r, as volume of the sphere is 4/3 pi r cube, and this charge per unit volume is nothing but treated as rho. Okay, we calculate this rho value, charge per unit volume is nothing but rho is equivalent to total charge enclosed in this sphere here. The charge Q is distributed uniformly throughout the sphere. Then we take it, the radius for the total sphere as r. Then we consider the whole volume of this sphere as nothing but rho is equivalent to total charge by total volume of the sphere. Then we have charge nothing but Q by total volume of the sphere as 4/3 pi r cube. Therefore, we have rho is equal to 3Q by 4 pi r cube. So, here charge enclosed in this Gaussian sphere is nothing but equivalent to this volume of the sphere value as nothing but 4/3 pi r cube into, we calculate that rho value as 3Q by 4 pi r cube. By cancelling this 3, 4 pi, then we have charge enclosed in this Gaussian sphere is nothing but Q into r by r whole cube. Here is this value as r cube and this one as capital R cube. Then we write the charge enclosed in the Gaussian sphere. Here the charge enclosed in Gaussian sphere nothing but is equivalent to Q into r by r whole cube. This one also Gauss law application, hence we consider the Gauss law statement. From that Gauss law statement we know that flux phi E value is nothing but identically equal to Q into 1 by epsilon naught into Q. So, we take it this charge as here charge enclosed in the Gaussian surface. Therefore, we consider the equation 1. Calculate the electric flux for the Gaussian surface is nothing but E into 4 pi r square. Then 1 by epsilon naught times, from Gauss law we can write this value as 1 by epsilon naught times Q into r by r whole cube. Here this one is r square, here is r cube, then we cancelling r square and r square on both sides. Therefore, E into 4 pi is equivalent to 1 by epsilon naught times Q into r by r cube. We want to calculate the electric field intensity here. So, the electric field intensity is nothing but equivalent to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q into r by r cube. Here the electric field intensity for this case, when the point P lies inside this charged sphere, is nothing but equivalent to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q into r by r cube Newton per Coulomb. This is the case 3 for the point lies inside this charged sphere. This one is very important to our semester examination. I hope you are following this one in this session. Okay students, thank you.